All I really have to say about this episode is, well, illogical. Just completely illogical.
Hey guys, and welcome to Masterpieces. This is episode 13, and we are going to talk about episode 13 of Transformers Prime Beast Hunters. And it was called Deadlock, and as G1 Shockwave so eloquently put it a few moments ago, illogical. Uh, this was kind of the finale since this was the last episode we're going to get before the movie comes out, so it's kind of the finale, sort of. And since that's the case, alright, I just gotta get it over with. I just gotta talk about this episode. Now, before I do, everybody, if you haven't seen the episode yet, really, don't watch what I'm gonna talk about because I'm gonna spoil so many things for you that you're really not gonna want to get spoiled for you. You're gonna hate me if this is the way you find out what happens in the episode. So don't watch this if you haven't seen it yet. Go watch the episode first. So the episode picks up right where we left off with the last episode. The Autobots are going to try and take the Nemesis and secure the Omega Lock. I'm not going to really go into the details of blow by blow what happens in the episode. But basically, what happens is the Autobots charge in. They take control of the Nemesis with the help of the kids, mind you. Alright, so Miko and Jack bridge themselves aboard the Nemesis, and with Raph, use Space Bridge technology and the Apex armor to beat Soundwave and send him into the Shadow Zone. So the kids defeat Soundwave. Ew. He's pretty expressionless, but I feel the anger coming off of him because of that. I did not like that. The kids, anyway, Ratchet and Shockwave have a pretty awesome fight, actually. It's pretty badass. And, Megatron and Optimus have their big hoopla fight and everything else, and during all the fighting and this and that, Bumblebee runs to hand Optimus the Star Saber, and Megatron shoots him dead. And at first I thought, oh man, we're going to get an Autobot death. We're actually going to get to see an Autobot kick it, and it's going to be Bumblebee. And silly me, why should I get my hopes up for that kind of stuff? What happens? Bumblebee falls to his death into the pool of cyber matter that they're going to use to terraform Earth. And he is reborn, voice box intact, and he takes the Star Saber and he kills Megatron. As far as we know, he kills Megatron. He goes offline and plummets to his death. With his Dark Star Saber, they plummet down to Earth, and it is assumed that he is dead. Then Megatron's dead, so all the Decepticons flee. The Autobots have control of the Omega Lock, so they run to Cybertron and bring Cybertron back to life. Meanwhile, Starscream and Shockwave are still aboard the Nemesis, and they board an escape pod, and they escape from the Nemesis onto Cybertron, and they land somewhere on Cybertron. We don't know where they are, but we know that they're out there alone, stuck together. Oh, the irony. Shockwave and Starscream escaping together, and now they're going to have to rely on each other to survive. And they hate each other. Oh, that was great. Kudos to the writers on that. I actually like that. That was pretty clever, pretty funny. Knockout just stays aboard the ship and basically says to the Autobots, I'm just going to join the winning side. How's that sound? And they knock him out. Ha, how punny. So we don't know what's actually going to happen to Knockout because that's the last time we see him in the episode other than they knocked him out. And then we find out that Predaking apparently has been hanging on to the ship the whole time. He never went anywhere. Or whatever. So he takes off, transforms and takes off, and the Autobots see him flying into the distance. And on Cybertron, just flying away. So they're like, "Oh, there's the Predacon." Then they come back to Earth to tell the humans that they have to go back to Cybertron to rebuild, and they leave them behind. And they say goodbye. And in another twist of ironic fate, Ratchet decides to actually not go back to Cybertron. He decides to stay on Earth because that's where he's needed. Ratchet, the one who's been whining since they got there about how much Earth sucks and how he just wants to go home, ends up staying. Oh, that's poetic. And isn't it poetic that Bumblebee is the one that gets to kill Megatron because Megatron's the one that took his voice box and blah blah blah, and how appropriate it is, and eat it, writers. I didn't like it. But the episode ends, the Autobots are leaving to go rebuild Cybertron, the Decepticons are scattered to the winds, everyone lives happily ever after, right? Well, we know that there's a movie coming out called Predacons Rising, and we're gonna see Predacons, Terrorcon Predacons, maybe, and I get the feeling that we haven't seen the last of Megatron either. I know that there are some Galvatron rumors floating around. I hope to God we're not going to see like a Galvatron type of situation. I don't want that. I just want Megatron back. And while we're on the subject of Megatron, may we just have a moment of silence for Megatron, losing him. Okay, that was enough. Soundwave will always be silent, so it doesn't really matter on his end. But Megatron's dead. They killed him, and Bumblebee killed him. I don't know. I'm insulted. I'm a little infuriated. As a Decepticon, I'm just like, what? What? Why, Hasbro? Why, writers? Why? Not good. And now I have to wait until the movie comes out to find out what's going to happen next. No, I don't like that. The episode where Soundwave spoke a few weeks ago was so great, so awesome. I was so pumped, and then now don't get me wrong. This was actually, I did like the episode. I thought it was awesome. I did like a lot of things about it, and I thought it was really just fantastically done. But Bumblebee killing Megatron is just something that I cannot get over. And it just ticks me off, and I just can't stand it. And that's just gonna that's gonna keep me from completely enjoying the episode. Just irritates me. It was like pouring, not only did Megatron have to die, but Bumblebee killed him. It was like pouring the salt in the wound for me. I don't know. That being said, this was the last episode until the movie comes out. So this segment will no longer be focusing on episodes of the show after this. It'll be something a little different, which next week you guys will just have to wait and see what I'm going to do, what I'm going to talk about. But that was the episode. That is the end as far as we know it. The Autobots lived happily ever after, and the Decepticons are scattered to the winds, and Megatron is dead. I don't know. I've got kind of a taste in my mouth. I hope the movie makes up for it. That's really I hope the movie makes up for it. But anyway, that being said, this has been Masterpieces at Masterpieces with Lexitron, your host, and of course, the ever silent Soundwave, who probably, if he could speak, would have a number of things to say about this episode. But anyway, we will see you guys next week for something a little different. Alright, so don't forget to tune in. And until then, don't stop hailing Megatron.